got timber coming. Oh.
We're Karen and Bo Christensen, a Danish-American couple who met in Germany in 2016. Bo is an airline pilot, and Karen is a freelance advertising creative director. In late 2022, we bought Château de La Tuilerie in Martel, France, and are working to make it a bed and breakfast and wedding destination fit for a queen. Welcome to Queen's Escape.
So we've been cutting timber, and these trees here have been vertical but also slant, going over the roof here, and it's been important for us to get some of that cut down. Karen's father's here right now, so he's doing that with a chainsaw, just clearing out this backside here, and then hopefully the trees that we are going to leave behind will not be in any danger of the roof in the future. That's the idea anyway. But a lot of it was just growing over the roof here. So I think we're about 3/4 of a way now. So the weather's perfect. It's nice. It's tomorrow it's October, so that's great. We got timber coming.
So my father and Bo have been felling trees that we are worried would fall on the outbuilding, and there you see one that's on the outbuilding. Yeah, there's Bo. Hi. Hi. And there's my father with sawing tools. Oh my goodness. What have you been doing?
Cutting trees. Lots of trees.
Yeah, I see. Was that one there yesterday?
No, I got that just a few minutes ago.
Oh boy.
All of these ones.
And it's like that tree fell close to the wire. We'll have to deal with that. My goodness.
I'm on the first floor of the outbuilding. Pretty big room, as you can see. And we had some damage to the tiles when we cut down the trees. So we've been fixing that up here. There were several that cracked. I see there's one there I need to adjust. Actually, didn't come into place the right way, but that's easy. We also found a few that gives us a little more light down in this end, so we had 3 extra of those, so that's great. And then the next project is to cover up this corner here for one, and then we have some pieces that are missing there. So we're going to the hardware store today to see if they have what we need. And also up here, I guess you can see it there, should not be able to see that skylight through the roof. So we need to fix that. We got a 8 to 10 day good weather coming, so it's not really an issue right now. So we have time, but we need to fix it. And also from the other side here, you can see we changed quite a few tiles, but still have to deal with this stuff up here. Yeah, I hope they have it at the hardware store. Otherwise we'll find it somewhere else. It slides right in. So the last couple of days we've been cutting down trees, and a few of them hit the roof here. So we have a couple of tiles that broke. So we're just replacing them by taking some of these extras we have here, and just to make sure that the rain won't come in. So that's a little extra job, which is typical when you start doing something around here. It ends up being 3 or 4 times the time you thought it would take. But has to be done. Here on the back side of the outbuilding is where we had some damage to the roof because of the trees. We were unable to have them fall in the direction we wanted, and we tried to break it by putting a rope high up, and then I would be standing up on the road in the back pulling, but some of them were so heavy that it wasn't possible. So they came down on the roof, and some of the tiles cracked. We exchanged those yesterday, and we did that. There was a few on this side here, maybe 10, and then at the end here is where most of the damage happened. And so yesterday we exchanged quite a few tiles, and that's all back to normal here, except you see that nice hole or two. So that's why we're going to the hardware store today, is to see if we can get a fixture for this, because I don't have the correct top tiles. I have one of these, but that's not the right one. That's a different one. So also they used one kind of tile on the long sides here, and at the end, which I just showed you, they used a different kind of tile. So that was another issue we had, but we managed to fix that. So I got 2 places on the top there and 2 places over here that I still have to deal with, and then we're back in business. So in front of this big port we had a whole bunch of timber, wood lying around, pieces, and Karen's father, he cut it up with a chainsaw. We still have some branches that we need to deal with, and over here was also a pile that I'm working on right now. And so in our shed here you can see the new lineup, and so that needs to dry for the next 2 or 3 years, but that's pretty good. So we're just saving the wood, and we have these other 2 on the sides here, and they're dry and good to go. So 1 season, 2 seasons, 3 seasons, looks pretty good.
So my father is out here cutting down a dead tree that has been dropping huge branches. Huge branches. I love the shape of the tree and everything, but it's completely dead. And the branches that it drops are so big, sometimes I can't move them out of the way of the path. So I reckon it's time for it to come down. And it said, you said it makes it unpredictable how it will fall?
Could split.
Oh, okay.
Makes it really unpredictable. So the objective is to throw it
That way.
going over there.
Okay.
We shall see.
All right, I'm gonna back up.
That's a good idea.
That's a big one. I'm really gonna back up.
Or notched it.
Mm-hmm.
And the objective is so that it'll kind of lean that way and
Yeah.
start cutting from the other side
So it can go.
so that it can hopefully it will lean that way into down.
Right.
But we shall see.
It looks like the tree came down. So there's all of these bees
Put your beehives up over there.
flying around the ground after this tree. It actually fell over this afternoon. So guess my father loosened it. All these bees flying around the ground.
Here at the shed you can see the wood that we've been stashing in here. So the very far left row and the far right row over here were already there, but the other two, this row and that row, plus the 2 rows in the back, is what we've added the last weeks here. So that's gonna have to dry, all this stuff, but this stuff over here is already dry, and of course the back row here as well. So the outer row that you see here was a big tree that was dead for a long time, and Karen's father cut it down and I've stuffed it in here, so it's also more or less good to go. But that's a nice little collection of firewood. At the tobacco leaf barn, I needed to store the wood that wouldn't fit in the shed where we normally would dry wood, so this is just the last of it here. All gonna dry up for a couple of years. So I just found out we have a leak in the roof over here. It's nothing big or fancy or serious, but I'm just gonna show you what the leak is in the bike room here. So we've had some water coming in, and it's wet here and it's wet here on the floor. So the good thing is I can fix it. Just have to go up and replace the tile. So I'm gonna show you where that is. And there's the hole, and then over here we have a little bit of extra tiles that we can use to replace the ones that are broken. So on this left side, because this is the thing, on this side it's one kind of tile used all the way down and also at the end, but on this side here it's a different kind of tile, and that's the one that says Tuilerie on the back here. So that's the kind I need to find so I can replace that one. So I got the replacement tile here. Alright, that was a little fixture of the tiles here, and this is the one that was broken in 3 pieces. So that's life.
We are adding to the plantings of trees today with an apple, a pear, and a plum by my mother, father, and Aunt Ruth. Pear planted from my Aunt Ruth, and the plum from my mother. And then we have the ones from the others. We have the cherry tree from Alex, Beau's son, and the peach tree, the first one, from my sister Christy, and the blueberry from Beau's son, Frederick. Christy's tree had gotten a little bit of a disease, and I sprayed it once with some spray, and all of the new leaves look really good. So we're happy that that one got healthy. So Christy's tree is planted, was the first one planted, but it is in the middle of 2 and they are a little close together, so we're going to move those today to give them all equal spacing. So then we water. We moved my sister's peach tree over here so that the trees were more reasonably spaced. So we filled in a hole over where the peach tree used to be and gave this blueberry bush and this cherry tree a little more space, which is nice. And you can sort of see it. And then here there's a new plum tree and a pear tree and my sister's peach tree, and then over there is my father's apple tree. So creating a little orchard. We have accountants for our business that will handle our expenses and filing our taxes and, you know, keeping us legal and all that sort of thing. But we have to gather and supply them with all of our receipts. And to date, and it's almost been 1 year, to date, I did provide them with receipts, I think in March, when we officially started working with the accountants. You know, we sort of paid them and had our first, gave them our first receipts and everything. But they still needed all of those receipts again. So I had them in a QuickBooks program, and luckily I'm still able to access it because I had scanned in all those receipts, and I was just worried that it had disappeared, but I was able to get those. And but from March until now, which is quite a long time, now is September, I need to organize and provide them with all of the receipts to date. So the way that I'm handling that is that I got one of these file folders that has 12 different pockets, and I spent the morning just organizing the different categories of spending that we have done in the past, to make sure that I have a category for that. And then also all of the categories, the French categories that we haven't used before, but we might use in the future, figuring out where those go. So basically I have 12 pockets here, and this is what I'm going to use to keep the receipts. So I will put a label on each one of these tabs for what receipts those are. And then it will be easy for us as we get the receipts to kind of file them into the right place. And then I'm supposed to give the receipts to the accountant once a month. So I got, in fact, 2 of these books. So I got exactly the same file folder in duplicate, so that I can have the receipts in. We can be putting the receipts in until we need to give it to the accountant, and then once I've handed that off to him, I have a second one that's exactly the same labeled, and we can be storing the receipts in this one during the next month's period. So whenever he gives that one back to us, then we can use it for the following month. So he'll have one and we'll have one at all times where we can keep our receipts and keep that organized. So, you know, we have the added a challenge of I need to be able to know what these tabs represent in terms of the categories, but so does our French accountant. So I spent the morning, I have the 12 tabs that I have in each folder, categorizing each of the spendings. So, you know, and making a label. So on the tab number 1 on the paper, I will have this as a reference for, okay, what expenses go in there. And then this on the next tab for a reference of what goes in there. So for example, you know, on my first section, I'm going to be sharing the bread and breakfast food receipts, as well as the purchase of any goods that we buy to sell. And then if ultimately we decide to buy gifts to give to customers, those 3 categories of receipts will go in the first pocket in my folder. And then there's a reference there in English and in the French official category for accounting of what that is. So for example, hospitality expenses like bed and breakfast food, this is known as frais de réception in Francais. And that, and then the purchase of goods for resale is known as the achat des marchandises destinés à la revente. I said that horribly with my English accent. The gift to customers is cadeau à la clientèle. So the French is the wording for the official categories in France. The English is just my back translation because I can't look at the French and always remember what it means. So it's just for my reference and for our accountant's reference to make it easier. And then I'll make a sort of an overall small label for each of these to go on the top of the little tabby thing. That's a little more general, just so we can make sure Bo and I train ourselves to put the receipts into the right pockets. So additional to that, I made just one master key, you know, that is our filing system key, and I'll laminate this paper and just stick it in the back of every folder so he can say, okay, these are what's in pocket 1, pocket 2, pocket 3, just so it's really clear to everybody how it works. So I've been putting off this task. When we met with the accountants in August, and I took the long list of everything that I needed to do, I was not super excited about doing it all. At the same time, I, used to enter in all the accounting every day in the early days until March. And if I didn't enter it in every week, it would build up, and then you got a big basket full of receipts and organizing to do, and I really didn't want to do it. And the QuickBooks interface is, I have not done accounting in my life. That's not somebody that I am. So it was quite foreign to me, and it irritates me if I don't really understand how to use software efficiently. So didn't love that and tended to put it off. And then sometimes Bo would want me to come out in the yard and help him with something, and he wouldn't really understand that I have a box of accounting that I really need to do, or the stress just keeps building up. But when we went to see the accountants, I'm so glad that I had that time, between when we got the place and March, where I was doing it myself in QuickBooks, or at least, recording and keeping a record of everything that we were doing, because it helped me to familiarize myself with the French categories that you basically declare expenses under. So now I'm a little bit ahead of the game here, because when I set this little system up with how I'm going to work with him, I have a little bit of knowledge about what he's talking about when he talks to me, so that's cool. Yeah. And I think once I do this initial work of organizing all of the receipts from the past 7 months, that's no fun. 7 months. It will be easier, and it's not so hard to take physical receipts and put them in the right categories. The pain in the butt was taking pictures of the receipts and making it, with a scanner, and then uploading, that from my phone to the computer and entering it in the QuickBooks and all of that. And I won't have to do that anymore. So now they have to do that. So that's great. So this might not be so awful. And then after that, I'll only have to do it a month at a time, as we go. So we should essentially be ready at the end of every month. It's just a little bit of preliminary work here. But I have to say, organizing is satisfying. Somehow it's calming to get yourself organized. Folders are ready. I have tab write-ups for all 12, and basically the explanation of what kind of receipts go in each, with the English and the French for myself, and then for the accountant, and then just a few examples if I have those. And all that's good to go, and there are 2 of them. So one for me to put things in when the accountant has the other one, and then once he's finished recording everything, he'll give it back to me, and I'll give him the next one while it's finished. So basically there's one for me to be filling while he has the other one. So now the only thing I have to do is to put all of the receipts that I have for the whole past year in them and give it to him, and then stop, give it to him, and then I'll start filling this one for the coming month, and then we'll swap off a month at a time. I am making the blackboard sign to go out by the door this morning. Okay, I am finished mostly, and so I have just the welcome up here and the social media stuff there, and most important, the checkout time, which people don't remember. I'm gonna do a little more decor up here, but here is the place where I'm leaving so that I can write in the names of the guests and change that on a daily basis. Yeah. So I used to work at a fitness center in Greensboro, North Carolina. It was called Ronnie Barnes Fitness Training Center. It was the coolest gym. I loved working there. I worked at the front desk. I was a juice bar girl, and I welcomed people in and, you know, scanned their cards and took care of that stuff, you know, supplements and clothes and stuff like that. But my main job was to welcome people, and my bosses wanted me to welcome people by name. So, you know, they would hand me their membership card, and so I would see their name and I would say, oh, welcome, you know, John, or welcome, Mary, or hello, Joto, or whoever it was. That one was memorable for me. But I'm telling you, being welcomed by name, it does something for you, you know, it feels good. I used to always I had Yahoo Mail, was one of my first emails. And I loved how when I would go to the page to look at my email, it would say, welcome back, Karen, or hi, Karen. It's a tiny, tiny thing, but it really, I love that. And when I go to a place, you know, a business, and they know my name or they remember me, it means something to me. So I wanted us here to welcome people by name. And, you know, we'll have the names they register with, so it might not be perfect, you know, perfectly right, or their name that they go by every day, but it'll be something and a little personable. Which I had forgotten before, and I'm good with it for now. Just wanted to tell you regarding the blackboard sign. I had a woman who came yesterday and she opened the door, her and her partner, and she saw her name on the sign and she was like, oh my gosh. She was just so delighted to see her name on our little welcome sign, and that was just the best reaction that I've seen so far. We had, some people come and they're like, oh, that's our names, and they, smiling. But yesterday she was so delighted and she's taking pictures and everything. And I erased her last name just so I could show you, I had her last name here too. And she was just so happy when she came in, which is why I made it in the first place.